Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to this morning's service. I'm glad you could join us this morning. We'll begin today's service with the reading of Junirai. So if you please join in the reading of Junirai. We'll begin this morning's service. Once again, good morning. And for those of you present in the Hondo this morning, it's good to see people here. As you may know, we've begun to return to in-person services, and we continue, of course, to broadcast our services via YouTube. But we have a kind of a sign-up sheet, a reservation, because we are still limited to the number of people that we can allow into the Hondo at any one time. And so if you are interested in attending in person, take a look at visit our website. And we're nowhere near the capacity, so don't worry about being unable to attend service. But it's really nice to have those of you who are here joining us this morning for this morning's service to be present here this morning. And if you are interested in attending our service in person, please take a look at our website. There is a reservation form that you can fill out and let us know. Then we'll have an idea of how many people may be in attendance on any Sunday. This morning, our speaker will be Dennis Akizuki.
So we'll begin, we'll read the three treasures. So please rise for the reading of the three treasures, which you'll find on page 8 in this book. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken ourselves to supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be free from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony and the spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriads of ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Again, thank you for attending this morning's service, and good to see you here. It's actually more people than here last week, so that's good. That's a good trend. We like to see that, and hopefully there'll be more and more people as we go along. So again, let's please join me again in Gassho and reciting the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So everyone who's joined us for service here, either live or later or in person, welcome. If you're watching or with us for the first time, introduce yourselves. So anybody who's for first time here, why don't you just say your name. Stand up and say your name.
My name is Chinghui.
Welcome. Anybody else first time? Welcome.
I'm Chris Ojeda.
Welcome.
My name is Sayuri.
Welcome. So, geez, that's really great. We have 4 people, actually, for the first time. Well, 6, counting Ellen and the baby. Kento, right? Oh, first time. So that's great that we have so many first-time people here. So if you're a first time on streaming, introduce yourself in the chat section, which you'll find to the lower right edge of the screen. And let us know if you'd like to learn more about Jodo Shinshu, which is our type of Buddhism. This Dharma talk is inspired by a longtime friend of mine. Someone who in everyday life is in one of the most unfortunate and challenging circumstances you can imagine. But he lives a life of gratitude, dana, and compassion. I won't tell you his name. I don't want to embarrass him, but we met in junior high school. We were in a summer school class in American history. Later, we attended the same university, and it turns out we were both signed up and we both joined the marching band. So we had a lot in common. We were both from San Jose, both Japanese American. He's actually not Buddhist. He's not actually religious at all. And then we were in the band, so we had all of these reasons to bond, and we did, and we've been very good friends ever since then. After college, we continued to attend football games together. Oftentimes, we ride up together to Berkeley, and for decades and decades, we've had seats in adjacent rows. He usually sits in back of me. He's always been a very positive, giving kind of person. How positive, you might ask? Well, despite our alma mater's futility on the football field most years, when he would take some of his relatives up to Lake Tahoe during the summer, he would place a bet that Cal would go to the Rose Bowl. Now, if you know anything about college football and about Cal football, Cal hasn't been to the Rose Bowl since 1959. So he would go year after year, thinking positive. This is the year. He placed that bet, and it hasn't happened yet. But that hasn't deterred him. He's always giving to others. One small example is when we go to football games, he would buy Togo sandwiches for everybody in our group. When people in the band alums would fall on hard times, in one particular individual in particular, he invited him to stay at his house for a while and then would periodically check up on him. Not only that, he got him a cell phone so that he could check up on him. And he put the cell phone on his bill. So at one point, I think he actually had 4 non-relatives on his cell phone bill. And that's just the kind of person he is. He would pay for that, year after year after year. And other people who were going through tough times that he knew, he would invite them to come over, stay, and they would be welcome to stay as long as they needed to stay. For many years, he was the principal caretaker for his mother and his aunt, who both lived with him. So he would take joy, though, in the little things in life. I recall he came to a birthday party for one of my children, and he was enjoying the meal, and with a big smile on his face, we had honey-baked ham. He said, "That honey-baked ham," you had to be there. I can't do his reaction justice. We had this big smile on his face, and he was just thankful, and he was just really, really enjoying the honey-baked ham. This all changed almost a year ago. In August, he had a horrible, catastrophic accident. When he was vacuuming his house, we don't know exactly what happened. Maybe he was trying to avoid his cat, but he had a misstep. He fell and hit his head on a wood portion of the sofa. He fell on the floor, and he couldn't get up. He was there for hours. 8 hours later, his girlfriend went on to check him because he didn't respond to text messages. Found him on the floor, unable to move, weakly calling for help. Well, it turns out he suffered just a catastrophic vertebrae injury. Vertebrae was not severed, but it was so bad that he's been a quadriplegic since then. So what we've learned is that he has a condition of the vertebrae. It's a calcification of the vertebrae. Hopefully I'm explaining this correctly, but it basically the ligaments of the spine thicken and harden. So this condition made the injury worse. If it hadn't been for this condition, his injury would have been fairly minor, and he would have recovered fully by now. Instead, he spent months and months in the hospital recovering. Meanwhile, his house was remodeled to make it wheelchair accessible, and one of his bedrooms was basically turned into a hospital room. He requires 24 hours a day care, so he has a caretaker living with him. So initially, a number of band alums received updates on his condition through a group text, since he could not communicate with us. As you can imagine, we were all shocked, talked about what we could do to help, help somebody who's always there for us. Last December, when he got home, I was scheduled to visit him in person, but as you recall, there was a big surge in COVID cases then, and so all in-person visits to him had to be canceled. So when he became able to, was up to it, he's actually able to speak, even though he has a ventilator. One member of our band group organized group Zoom sessions with him. So I was thinking, geez, what am I going to say to him? It's going to be really difficult. And how is he going to be? How's his attitude going to be? How's his spirits going to be? Well, from the first session that I was in with him, it was clear he was very much the same person that he was before the injury. He declared over and over again that he's optimistic about life and his condition. To show that this hasn't changed, his caretaker is from Tonga. When there was a big earthquake in Tonga affecting his caretaker's family, he told us he was really worried about his caretaker's family, and he was trying to do whatever he can. So his caretaker arranged. He said it was okay to have this big box to send supplies in his garage. So he allowed her to collect all of these things to send over to Tonga, and they're in his garage. His diet obviously has changed. He liked junk food, and now he has oatmeal, a double helping of oatmeal, he said, every morning, and lean cuisine for other meals. But he missed his favorite foods since he likes junk food so much, such as pizza and ice cream. After a while, his doctor gave him the go-ahead to let him expand his menu, and on occasion to include anything he wanted on the menu. So 2 weeks ago in the Zoom session, he said, he was very happy to report that his brother brought him a hamburger from Five Guys, which he really, really enjoyed. And last week, he very happily again told us that the previous night he ate pie and ice cream, which he declared was delicious. On top of it, he said, there's more left over. And the icing on that pie is his blood sugar reading that morning was below 100. So he was very pleased about that he could have pie and ice cream and his blood sugar level was below 100. So that kind of just shows you, his attitude. He keeps on saying he's positive. It's remarkable because he's facing all these challenges. As I said, he has a ventilator. He also has a trachea tube. Because of the constant infection, danger of infection from the trachea tube and the ventilator, the life expectancy of somebody hooked up to the machines like that is very low, like about 2 years. In addition to that, his bodily wastes are collected in bags. So in typical fashion, last week, he was noted that, he drinks coffee and now he doesn't have to get up and go to the bathroom. He could just lie there. So again, he sees the positive in this horrible, what we'd all would think would be, for us, just impossible for us to deal with. But he's dealing with it on a daily basis with his attitude, and his attitude is just about his situation. A couple months ago, he underwent surgery on his vertebrae in the hopes of improving his condition. He realizes that progress will be very, very slow. But even before the surgery, he said he had some sensation in his feet. He felt he'd feel coolness on his thighs sometime and pressure on his rear when he sat in his wheelchair. Now, he said, he doesn't think he's imagining that. He thinks that's real. And so he's taking that as some positive indication that there is improvement. and last week again, he repeated that he was optimistic. He was very optimistic. His short-term goal is to get rid of the trachea tube and the ventilator. And there is some encouraging signs. There is improvement in his breathing, and he's hopeful that he's going to be able to get rid of the trachea tube and the ventilator. And he said, if that happens, he said, my life expectancy will be normal. And that's something he's looking forward to. He's trying really to be positive and look at that as a goal, a goal to reach. And another one of his goals consistently is, he'd like to regain the use of his hands. Obviously he can't do anything. Somebody has to feed him. He does have a motorized wheelchair. He controls it with his forehead, and there's a joystick that comes up, and he can move it left and right, backward and forward that way. But obviously it'd be easier for him if he could use his hands to control it. Again, he's looking forward to the day when he can use his hands. And then for the first time last week, he added that he's looking forward to the day when he can use his arms and his legs. So I think he's still very positive about this situation. So as we were winding down this almost hour-long Zoom session last Sunday, he kind of addressed all of us that were in the Zoom session with him. I think there were 4 or 5 of us who were there that day. He told all of his friends, he said, I hope you're all happy because you all deserve it. So again, looking out for other people. I hope you're happy. You deserve it. That kind of epitomizes the kind of person he is, and continues to be, despite, what, is just this horribly catastrophic accident that's left him in, unable to really do the things that he enjoyed to do. But he's, other people would be depressed, angry, despondent. Why am I in this situation? And to be sure that I think he did go through periods like that initially. And it took him a while to kind of regain his balance of who he is and his outlook on life. But he has regained that outlook and that just feeling about life. And he continues to express care about others. And he continues to express this really through appreciating what the little things, pie and ice cream, a hamburger, not having to go to the bathroom after drinking coffee. Little things. And as I said, he's not Buddhist and not really religious at all. But he really has this Buddhist outlook on life, I think, right? He kind of lives a Buddhist life. And I think we should be grateful for people like my friend, people who show us what a life of gratitude, of dana, of selfless giving, and compassion can look like, even in the darkest of times. And I'm going to be in another Zoom session with him on today at 1 p.m. And as I told you that I kind of dreaded the first time I went on a Zoom session, what it would be like. But I find after talking to him, these are really uplifting visits with him, really, because how can you not be uplifted after talking to somebody in his situation, with his outlook, with his compassion, of looking out for others, asking about how you're doing. So I think, again, we should be grateful for people like that who kind of show us, really, what a life that we should be leading. So please, again, join me in Gassho and reciting the Nembutsu. Namo Mirabutsu. Namo Mirabutsu. Namo Mirabutsu. Namo Mirabutsu.
Thank you for sharing that story of your friend, Dennis. Really, it's a lesson for all of us. Whatever condition we might find ourselves in, sometimes we think it's a very difficult situation. But even in those times, we can perhaps find something that can connect us with the world around us. The practice of Buddhism is not just in Buddhism. I don't think Shakyamuni Buddha was trying to teach us about Buddhism. What Shakyamuni Buddha was trying to do was to get us to look at ourselves and how we view the world, and how through the way that we view the world we experience challenges and difficulties as well as joy in our lives, and understanding ourselves, reflecting on what we experience, and our relationship to the world around us can change the way that we appreciate the world. Again, thank you, Dennis, for sharing that experience with us this morning. It's Obon time. We have Obon. We're going to be in-person Obon this year. The weekend of the 9th and 10th will be our Obon festival. And so please plan to come and join us for that. We have no idea what the response will be like, but we hope you'll be able to join us. We would also like to remind people that there will not be dressers or a dressing area for those who would like to wear kimono. So we're encouraging people to come, either come dressed or come in hapikote or yukata, something that won't require others to help you. And of course, we're taking this as a precaution because when you're dressing someone, you're in a close proximity, and the possibility of transmission of COVID increases with that proximity. So this year, there will be no dressing area, nor will there be people to help with dressing. So please either come with your kimono on, or come in hapikote and yukata, be more relaxed, and then come and enjoy Obon with us. So again, thank you very much, everyone. Is there any other announcement? Can you think of anything else? Yeah, Gilbert.
Can we post the Obon schedule on the website?
I think we will be doing that shortly, as we.
Most people do know when to come.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding us.
We posted on Facebook, but we haven't posted it on the website yet.
Okay.
We're working on that.
Okay. Thank you, Mas. Yeah, so we'll get that up as soon as possible. Since we do have it on Facebook already, then we should be able to transfer that. Yeah, the format. So again, thank you for joining us, and it's good to see you in the Hondo. Thank you for being present here this morning. As we conclude, do we have a Gatha? Oh, okay. We'll have a Gatha, and then we'll conclude the service.
Pure and beautiful thoughts I will see the light.
Will you please join in Gassho? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much, everyone. Please come forward for Oshoko. Thanks, Gerald.
Joe, nice to be here. Hey, I'll try to have a full attendance for only I can do it because based on so far these 2 weeks.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good to see you again.
Actually, he gone for around 3 weeks. Oh, okay. I'm going to visit family back in Texas. Oh, okay. But I'll be back in English.
Okay.
Good to see you. Nice to see you all again. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, Uncle Dennis. Hi. 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 This is my husband, Chris. I don't know if you've met.
Nice to meet you.
No, I don't think we have met.
Nice to meet you. Yes. And this is Dennis. Hi. Hi. I'm Ellen.
Mikame.
Yes. My dad
Good
is.
morning. Thanks for joining us this morning.
So, and then this is Enzo.
So,
Like,
Oh my goodness, sorry.
so